And on behalf of travelprofessionalnews.com, home-based travelagent.com, and find a host travelagency.com, I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar. And thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join here with us. Today's topic is travel agent and or travel influencer. All right, so this is going to be a really cool thing. Our speaker today is Carolyn Orff, who I've known many years, and she is the education manager at KHM Travel Group, and a lovely lady. And she began her travel agency journey in 2007 from her kitchen table, leaving her career as a high school business education teacher. And I do remember meeting her back in 2008, so we go back a long ways. From 2010 to 2019, she served as the education manager and a top producer, specializing in family travel with her former host agency. And in 2020, she moved to KHM Travel Group. And since joining the team, she's enjoyed developing virtual education, enhancing the learning management system, and bringing fun to KHM Today, our YouTube show and the podcast that they have, and hosting several in-person educational events every year. And she still actively books travel while maintaining this role. So she's one of you. Remember that you're all muted, but we welcome your questions at any time. You simply need to type those in the questions area that you see on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll get to those questions after she's finished her presentation and answer as many as we can. We are going to also be awarding a $50 Amazon gift card, courtesy of us here at Travel Professional News. So this will take place at the end of the webinar after we've done the questions with Carolyn. So we will not be having the chat function open, folks, just so you know, so don't worry about that one. Just put your questions in the questions area. And I'm going to go ahead at this point and just turn it right on over to Carolyn so we can get started. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you, Joni, and good afternoon, everyone. As Joni said, I'm Carolyn Orff, the Education Manager at KHM Travel Group, and I am not at our Ohio headquarters. I actually work remotely in Littleton, Colorado. So my hope today is that my doorbell doesn't ring, my dog doesn't bark. So those are my wishes, along many others, for our webinar today. I'm excited to share my thoughts on being a travel agent and or a travel influencer. And as Joni mentioned, I really do think it's important to share that, you know, being in the business for 18 years, I still do book travel while being the education manager at KHM. I've been doing this now for 18 years, 15 of which I've been an education manager at the two different hosts. So when I say the word we in this presentation, I really do mean we. I'm in this with all of you. So in the title of this presentation, you will notice that I didn't use the word versus in the title. To me, that word makes it sound like we're against each other, and that just isn't the case. You can be one or the other, and the big question today will be, can you be both? So as Joni mentioned, I am a former high school education teacher, business education teacher, and so there's always objectives, learning objectives for everything I do. So in this session, my goal is to define with you what a travel agent is and what a travel influencer is. Learn how to stand out and get noticed in the travel space. Discover what really builds trust, authority, and bookings with your audience. And our hope is that you'll find your edge. Are you an agent, an influencer, or are you both? So let's begin with defining what a travel agent is. A travel agent has knowledge of the industry, expertise in destinations, and relationships with industry partners, all to create a seamless travel experience for the client. They oftentimes have industry certifications and supplier certifications. A travel agent doesn't just talk about the destination, they get you to the destination. We offer crisis management and post-booking support. And we may work independently for an agency as part of a team or as a member of a travel agent host agency. Now, travel advisors also are storytellers. So when you think about the arc of a traditional story, we begin with the introduction to us as agents. We listen to the client for the plot line. We work on their travels until we reach the climax of the plot, which is when they're traveling on their trip, which hopefully doesn't have any major conflicts or unwanted action, followed by our resolution or conclusion of the trip. So there's our story. Then we move on to the influencer. So an influencer sparks interest, introduces the new and different, and works to inspire through personal experiences. They engage followers through storytelling as well and authenticity, many times in the moment, no matter what that moment is. They drive brand awareness and sometimes monetize influence through partnerships and promotions. Other major differences we haven't addressed yet is that influencers work to curate content and convey their likes. As agents, we listen to each individual voice, that being our client that comes to us. We decipher and discern what it is they're looking for. When an influencer travels, they're looking at the unique, the different, convenient, or anything else that their viewing population might get excited about when traveling. A travel advisor, when traveling, oftentimes is looking at space, bedding configurations, and some of the technical pieces that a client might be asking about when looking to book a trip. When I read that, I think about how I am working on a FAM and the things that I'm writing down, the number of restaurants, is it accessible? All of those little pieces. How does the room smell? What is the view from the room? What's the bedding like? What's in the bathroom? All of those technical pieces that the client might matter to them. So I'm taking note of those things. Either way, it's important to build trust and authority. So let's talk about how a travel agent builds trust and authority. As a travel agent, it's important to build both of these. Remember, potential clients are reaching out to you with the hopes of putting their vacation into your hands. Vacations, no matter the budget, are a lot of money to that person. It is important that you present yourself as a true business, and that business starts with the basics. What does your email convey? Is it professional? Do you have a website or some sort of online presence? What does your email signature look like? Have you included a professional headshot or logo? Do you have any certifications? And is your business an LLC? All of these will begin to lend itself to building trust and authority with potential clients. So while the travel industry does not require specific certification or license, programs are available through a few different organizations. And I hope that this information is not brand new to you because it's so great and it's important. So as an educator, I'm always going to suggest that you start with your agency or your host agency education. At KHM, we spend a lot of time thinking about ways to professionally develop our agents so they continue to have an edge in this very busy travel space. We offer both online learning management system, and several live events each year. ASTA offers the VTA or Verified Travel Advisor program. If you haven't taken this, it is so the content was just fascinating to me and I really enjoyed it. CLIA has the 4 different levels of certification. So if you're focused on cruising, this is a fantastic program. The Travel Institute offers the CTA program or Certified Travel Agent. This is a comprehensive program that digs into the industry, how it works, geography, and more. And finally, our supplier training programs. So many of our fabulous partners have online programs for agents to take advantage of. This opens you up to brand awareness, product updates, and marketing tools. You can see on the screen that I do have a lot of these certifications. That is not necessarily what my recommendation is for you. However, in my role, I felt it was important to know and understand what each program entailed so that I could speak to our agents intelligently about which one would benefit them most and when they should take advantage of it. So you can see I'm a little bit of a geek when it comes to learning. I do love to just kind of be learning. The letters on the certification really don't mean as much to me as the content does. But all of these help present my knowledge and understanding and build trust and authority with my clients. So when building trust and authority, As an influencer, you must be real in conveying your experience and what you're posting. Some of my favorites when it comes to this mentality are the influencers that do the what I ordered versus what I got posts. I feel like these are real and they're always geared towards what really worked, which I appreciate. It's important to be careful about what someone will do with the information put out there. So being clear is important. Authenticity can be a challenge for influencers, especially if there is a paid relationship. If there is a paid relationship, it's important to convey that in all content. As an influencer, your avenues are a little different and can stretch beyond social media. The use of the word influencer really took off when social media became that thing, but that isn't really where it started. Influencers over time have used textbooks, articles, viewerships, and strategic partnerships. And then more recently, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, blogs, and YouTube. There are times when I'm told that I'm an influencer because of my reach amongst our agent population and our suppliers. I have a small reach on media platforms, but nothing huge. But I'm still seen that way because of those that I get the pleasure of speaking with on a daily basis. So I'm an influencer and an agent because of my reach. I'm also an avid learner, so I'm always on webinars listening to product updates, and whereby I'll never speak poorly about a supplier or a product, I do speak up when something wows me. And again, because I have access to our agent population, that is a reach. So let's look at some examples of how an influencer and an agent might approach posting on social media. On the left, you see the influencer with this beautiful image that makes you scream, "Where is that? I want to go there." The image on the right is something an agent posted. This is reasons to book an all-inclusive. This is informative, practical, and shares that the agent wants to make sure that if you are discerning this type of trip, that it is the right one for you. Both serve a purpose. Being both an agent and an influencer requires credibility and popularity. Both play a critical role in influencing travel behavior. For an agent, that credibility comes from referrals, your education, and how you respond to your client population. One of the reasons travel agents are still in existence is because if you're doing it right, you are reliable to your clients. Many times we offer clients a direct line to us, no 800 number, no prompts to listen to. This is a luxury in today's digital climate. For an influencer, that credibility may come in the form of likes, shares, and partnerships. So how do you become popular as a travel agent? Over time, with a proven track record of providing a great experience for clients. The experience we're talking about is that entire process from the very first conversation to the after travel follow-up. While the trip is important, this part is out of your hands. You have very little, if any, control over the execution of it. But being there when it is excellent and when there are hiccups is how you truly become popular in the travel agent space. Encourage your clients to write reviews for you. At KHM, many of our agents are part of Travel Leaders Network Agent Profiler program. After travel, agents send a review link to their clients to review their experience with the agent, not the trip experience. Of course, you can also do this with Google. Ultimately, your goal is to build authority. So are you popular as a travel influencer? To be seen as popular in the influencer space, you are looking for a large and engaged following, a strong reputation that earns trust, and the ability to influence consumer behavior and monetize through brand partnerships. Can you be both? The answer is absolutely yes. So as travel agents, we sometimes turn our noses up at the idea of being the influencer and the concept, but working together, becoming one, is possible and something to consider in your business model. Influencers may provide a reach that the agent doesn't have, but the agent provides expertise. There is an opportunity for co-branded campaigns, increasing customer trust. Shared storytelling enhances authenticity and visibility. And partnerships, no matter how you look at them, create a win-win opportunity. So I'd like to share with you some examples of agents working at that both partnership. This first example is Marcus Williams, owner of Impressive Travels. He's one of our fantastic agents. Marcus does a lot of group travel to Mexico, Caribbean, and Las Vegas. He sits on advisory boards, which shows his expertise, and you can see that he's sharing that on Instagram. He has a love of group travel, and you can see that his groups love him based on the color coordination in the picture in the middle. And then finally, Marcus is highlighting a brand and experience in the last image. In these three images, Marcus is conveying not only that he is educated in the sphere, but he is also successful with his group focus, and that he has strong partnerships, unpaid, with a brand. He's working on being both the agent and the influencer. I will say, because I know Marcus personally, where Marcus goes, people go. And that is a gift, and that is something that he has worked over time to create. And then he shares that on social media. Our next agent is Rebecca. She's owner of Smiley Travel. She is a young professional in this space, which automatically resonates with a specific population. Rebecca's been featured in a few articles, again, showing her influence and expertise in the travel industry. In the middle image, she shares that she travels herself and creates a call to action, that she is the one that can get them there. And finally, if you're to watch this as a reel, you will see that she is using something that is currently trending and jumping on it, showcasing food throughout Paris. And finally, Tim Davis recognizes himself as the travel agent. Tim is super engaging, very real, and as you can see, he is recognized also in the industry with this quote that is in Travel Weekly. He does some great trending videos. He's showing his knowledge, ongoing education, and his fun side, which makes him relatable and great to watch. This is another example of an agent filling both the agent and influencer space. No matter how you look at it, when we think about agents and influencers, both work to prove credibility, which can lead to popularity. If either an agent or an influencer, there is a final benefit. But to be fair, travel agents are the original travel influencers. We just have multiple mediums to play with now and convey this. So I thank you all for being with me today. You'll see that there's contact info on the screen. Joni, I think I probably talked a little bit faster than I practiced. Do we have questions?
Hi, okay, Carolyn, I'm back in here again. Not yet. I do have someone here that says, asking a good question. Bonnie's asking, where can I get the best help to learn how to create a reel?
Oh, goodness. YouTube, Bonnie, YouTube.
Yeah,
I know,
right, that makes sense.
And if you have kids on your street, ask them to do it. There are great videos on YouTube. I would also look at CapCut. This is a great program that's easy to use, and you can find online tutorials. That's CAPCUT. TikTok has a feature inside of that you can use that's right in the platform, but CapCut is very easy to use. And when I say that, you guys, look, I'm not totally technically challenged, but I have other people that can help me with these things, including 2 children. So when it comes to doing these things myself, I tend to push it off on other people. With that said, I have most recently become sort of addicted to CapCut and are now doing these things myself. And it just took patience to be sitting down and really just focusing on it. And it is not as hard as you think it is. So that's what I would suggest. YouTube is your friend. If I can do it, you can do it too.
Great. All right. That's perfect. She says just thank you to that. Can you suggest some ways to get ROI or return on investment on a private Facebook group?
Oh, okay. So private Facebook group for your business.
Yes, she says yes, yes.
So I think at the end of the day, it is all about getting people to come to that group and then sharing whatever you're doing there with your personal page. Now, there are two mindsets here. I do not have brand awareness with my business, even after 18 years. No one recognizes my business name, they recognize me. So on my Instagram, on my Facebook, I will post things that are not super business. I'll post my travels, but not necessarily deals. So think about how people resonate with you. If people really resonate with you because you've been in a community just by your name, find a good balance between posting about your business and your travels and your personal stuff. You don't want to inundate people, but if people are not going to recognize you for your business, I don't personally think that's a bad thing. You could spend way too much energy trying to get people to make that brain shift that they're never going to make. So lean into that. And if it's not your personal business page or your business page in Facebook, just start using your personal page in a business-like manner. But keep it relevant, keep it interesting, and stay away from the deals because no one wants to see that on your personal page. But they do want to see your personal travels and your work travels. Does that answer?
Perfect. Yes, she said thank you. That's great. Do you also recommend any particular platform, Carolyn, like Facebook over Instagram or TikTok? Do you have a preference, or do you see agents having more success with one than another?
So my personal rule of thumb is know your people. I work with a lot of agents on a daily basis that feel like they need to become this social media maven because that's what everyone else is doing. So reflect on your people. How do your people receive information? If you have a more mature population, you might be email marketing to them. You might be picking up the phone. You might be sending them emails. You might be using a program like Engagement through Travel Leaders where you're sending postcards out. That might fit your population. If you do have a population that is going to be on platforms, I think you do almost all of them. I do not do TikTok because those are not my people, but I do Instagram and I do Facebook. So I think you have to go back to really analyzing your market, who those people are, how they receive information, and then start working towards that.
That's a fantastic answer.
If you put all your baskets into the social media, yet none of your people are on those platforms, you're wasting time and energy where you could be designing postcards, looking for tools that are available through your host or through your agency that would allow you to do email marketing or direct mail marketing, things like that. And you guys, I'm telling you, yes, we're talking about agents and influencers here, but direct mail, there's still a space for this. Every time you
I totally agree.
Mail, I delete 50%, if not more, of what's in there. But I always look at the postcard that comes in my box, regardless of whether or not it's sitting between two bills. I still look at it. So really, really reflect on your population and create a marketing strategy and a plan that works for your people, not the person next to you.
Great advice. Fantastic advice. Okay, this question is interesting. It's a little bit off topic, and I'm only going to ask this question because I know your experience in the industry and I know, your history. It's kind of a different question. Some people ask me this question. I have perhaps an answer that's different than yours. I'm not sure what yours will be, but it'll be interesting to see what you feel on this. They said that they noticed throughout the presentation that you use the term agent and not advisor. Now, we all know that ASTA has pushed like crazy for everyone to call everybody an advisor. Be that as it, believe it or you don't, is neither here nor there. But they're asking, do you consider the two terms synonymous, or do you by chance make a distinction between them? And I'm just anxious to hear your thoughts on this.
Oh gosh, this is a great question. Who asked that?
It
Joni?
is. I love this question. I wasn't going to ask it. Then I thought, heck, I want to see what she says because I know how I feel. And it's not my seminar. It's not my webinar, but it's yours.
So I think they're somewhat synonymous. But when we're talking about how you present yourself to the public, the term agent is more widely known than advisor or specialist or anything like that. So when someone is Googling travel agent near me, or they're not using the term advisor, because that's not the term that's been around for 100 years. Travel agent is. And so I tend to use travel agent when I'm thinking about how am I marketing myself. To agents, I like to use advisor, because I like them to think of this as more than a transactional relationship. And that's what I think advisor conveys. There's that relationship piece, which to me is the cornerstone of being a good agent. And then there's the agent piece that sort of has that transactional tone, but it's the one that the general public understands and relates to. So, Joni,
Perfect.
do you agree?
I do actually. I do, and I don't. I mean, yes, I do totally, because I prefer to use agent. We use agent, and then obviously because our publication is Travel Professional News, we use professional as well. But to be honest with you, I agree with you. It is what I mean. I've been in this industry way more years than I care to say how many, and that has been the term. I mean, that's what people knew, and that's what they kind of they gravitate to, because that's what we're all used to. And I don't have a problem with the word advisor at all. And it does make a ton of sense. But if we're marketing to the public, I think we have to think about what they're going to Google or what they're going to type in a search, instead of what we want to be called, if that makes any sense to you.
Exactly. I think that when you give your 30 seconds pitch, that's when you have an opportunity to really define what it is you do outside of that language. So we do an activity where I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this before, where you're at a cocktail party and someone says, "Oh, you're a travel agent or a travel advisor? I didn't know those exist anymore." And then that's your opportunity for 30 seconds to define what it is, how you do it, and why we still exist. So if you do not have that 30 seconds worked out in your brain, I would challenge you to work on that the next week, because it's happened to all of us. And I don't know about you, but I fumble over it more often than not. And it doesn't make me sound like I like my job, like I'm good at my job or anything, even though I've been doing it for many years. So challenge yourself to come up with that 30 seconds that will tell someone, yes, it still exists, here's why, and this is how good I am at it.
Yeah, exactly. We call that the elevator speech. And in our books, many of our books, we talk about, how your elevator pitch, you got to be able to start it when you get in the elevator and finish it before you get to the top, wherever that might be. So it's so important to be,
concise and passionate.
Yeah,
because otherwise,
exactly.
if someone asks you that, you're going to walk away and roll your eyes and be like, "I'm out of here," because it always sounds very defining. It always, what do you mean they still exist? Watch your tone, folks.
Yeah, we just have to be careful how we word it. Well, that's fantastic. I don't see any more questions right yet, so I guess we'll go ahead and go to our prize. Folks, what you're going to do is we're going to ask you a question, and you're going to answer that question by typing in the answer to the question in the questions area that you see. So you want to do that quickly. If you were listening carefully, you'll definitely know the answer to this question. It's not a hard question. And then I'm going to randomly pick someone who's going to be able to do some more Amazon shopping with a $50 gift card, courtesy of Travel Professional News. All right, so ready, folks? Remember, put it in the questions area. Here we go. Whether you are a travel agent or a travel influencer, you are working to build what? Go. There were a number of answers to this, so a lot of folks have come in with one of the others, but I'm going to go with a correct answer. You don't have to name all of them, but.
This is very exciting.
Yeah, really, the thing is, it's like there's so many great answers, but I have to be random here, so it's hard for me to be random. All right, so I'm going to close my eyes, and I've got a lot of answers on the screen. I think I've got everybody that we're going to get for this moment, and I'm going to randomly put my finger on my screen and then open my eyes. and make sure I got a correct answer. And I did. All right, we have a winner. It's Casey McClellan. And Casey answered answered two of them. There are more than two, but she answered two of them, and most people only answered one or two. So, Casey McClellan, what is the answer that we would want to say? Go for it, Carolyn.
Oh gosh, I forgot. What was the question? Credibility.
Shame on you. Trust, authority, trust and authority, or credibility and popularity.
Popularity. Yes, there we go. You caught me.
A lot of people got it right, and everybody, was trying to get it right. I mean, that's a lot of answer, but nonetheless, it's all they're all correct. You want all of those things. Okay.
You want all of them. And I have no doubt that this group can achieve all of them. And, please reach out if you have any questions or, need some guidance on this area. But, YouTube is your friend if you need to learn how to up your social media game for sure.
Yes, and I want to say that, folks, KHM is an incredible host agency, and I know that Carolyn, if you've enjoyed this, you can see the kind of education opportunities you have available to you with them as a host agency. So, Carolyn, I thank you for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, your experience, and everything today. It was great. I'll let you say your goodbyes, and then we'll go ahead and close out for the day.
Oh, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that you reach out to khmtravel.com if you have any questions, and feel free. We've got a talk show that we do Wednesdays on the KHM Travel Group YouTube channel if you want to join us there. Wednesdays at 3 p.m., not every Wednesday, but next Wednesday. So thanks, Joni. It was great to hear your voice again after so many years.
You too. I know, it's great to catch up. Wonderful. Thank you, Carolyn, for being here today. Thank you, everybody, for taking time out of your day, and have a great Halloween, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.